invincible. I'm bulletproof, don't ever lose. Put the evil in the devil and I'm let it loose. I'm an earthquake, make your bones shake. There's no question I'm the king, I always dominate. A force to be reckoned with, better remember it. Look at what I can do, walking all over you. Incredible, it's criminal. I never lose, I'm bulletproof. Best in the game, we all know my name. Can't run now, it's too late. Got winning in my blood, in my DNA. It's destiny, it's fate. I'm unbreakable, unbeatable, undefeatable, I'm invincible. Unbreakable, unbeatable, undefeatable, I'm invincible. I'm bulletproof, don't ever lose. Put the evil in the devil and I'm let it loose. I'm an earthquake, make your bones shake. There's no question I'm the king, I always dominate. A force to be reckoned with, better remember it. Look at what I can do, walking all over you. Incredible, it's criminal. I never lose, I'm bulletproof.
You feel like something new. You feel like something. You feel like something new. You feel like something. Don't just stop it. Doing what you do. When I lay back, holding on to you. Ooh, ooh. Feel like something new. Here on overload, all my body is for you to hold. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Feel like something new, yeah. And I never thought that you got me wanting. Never thought that you feel like something. You feel like something new. You feel like something. I feel like I'm in another galaxy. Take my time in your eternity. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Feel like something new.
I pack my suitcase, headed out the door, I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home, a couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
Miles past, turning back, found my track, face the fact, she a cold one. Never gonna settle for none, stay up every night till I won. Don't want a slow rise now, I'm confident opulence isn't a long ride out. When I look back now, I'm astounded. A quiet boy from old age, but always felt the world was a stage, yeah. I celebrate one last late night, my old life ain't staying.
I pack my suitcase, headed out the door, I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home, a couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
I'm headed to LA, headed on my way, I'm headed on my way to LA, headed on my way soon.
Couple thousand miles, throw it on the dash. Shit, 10,000 hours, can't let them pass. Yeah, well, I was putting time in, you was pulled up wildin'. You always had shit to say, now when I see you, it's silence. Thought I'd have a Grammy by 25. Commas after commas next to dollar sign, yeah. To remind myself why I'm living this life. Look at all the late nights, it'll all come in due time, yeah.
Made for the fight, for the pain and the climb, tied to the life I chose. Stay through the night, another day, not a dime. Race against time. Yeah. I couldn't just lay by and wonder what I could have made mine. I'm closing on the moment, no one's gonna hold me down. From getting
I pack my suitcase, headed out the door, I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home, a couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
thinking that's so overrated. Yeah, if you make one, you will fall. Too much of a temptation. Yeah, there's a comfort in the crowd. Now I've been on my feet too long. I know I'm strong, just looking for some solid ground, so I can start to run. I don't wanna be tired, moving so bad, I don't wanna be tired. Feels like it's my time. I don't need you now. Don't you waste your time. Don't you waste your
Yeah. La 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 la. Yeah. Your life hits hard, but I hit right back. I never back down. I keep it on track. It's the same day with no problems. I keep rising from the bottom. Cause when the sun comes up and I look around, I can feel that love, I can hear that sound. They're never gonna hold me down. I'm higher than the ceiling now, and then I need to worry about, cause I got no problems. I know it's gonna be alright. It's getting better every time. Nobody's gonna kill my vibe, cause I got no problems. Yes, every day was a war. Yeah, it kinda took a while. When they tell me I should stay, I just jump with a smile. Yeah, it's hard until you notice. Everybody's got their moment. When the sun comes up and I look around, I can feel that love, I can hear the sound. Listen up. They're never gonna hold me down. I'm higher than the ceiling now, and then I need to worry about, cause I got no problems. I know it's gonna be alright. It's getting better every time. Nobody's gonna kill my vibe, cause I got no problems. Cause I got no problems. Cause I got no problems. Do you feel a little down? Say it. No problems. Let you in, but you out. Sing it. No problems. They're never gonna hold me down. I'm higher than the ceiling now. Have none I need to worry about, cause I got no problems. They're never gonna hold me down. I'm higher than the ceiling now, and none I need to worry about, cause I got no problems. I know it's gonna be alright. It's getting better every time. Nobody's gonna kill my vibe, cause I got no problems.
We're not the only ones. 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 We're not the only ones.
Days gone, I won't waste another one. Oh, that darkness, it won't set me back again. Oh, I'm not asleep or awake. I won't let the fear Just shake the ground. Oh, this lightness, it will fill the air around. Oh, I'm not asleep or awake. How let the future escape. Back to you.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to ESL Challenger League Season 49 in North America. My name is Laz, and I'm joined with the lovely Paladin to bring you a riveting matchup here with a struggling record of Legacy right now with the rank 11 taking on the number 2 team of Getting Info, where Legacy is looking to bounce themselves back on the chopping block of being in their low ranks from their absences and forfeits to hopefully find a top form for a top 10 position here in the league.
Yes, it is a very odd situation, right, Laz? I mean, when you look at the league and the narrative that we've got settling in here, you've got a team that is potentially on the ropes and a team that should potentially not necessarily even be in this conversation of, oh, are they going to make playoffs or not? Because this is a team that is available to Bucharest. They qualified all the way through the PGL qualifiers not too long ago, through a lot of big games, got a lot of VRS points, and should be favorites here. But unfortunately, they've got a bit of a pressure cooker building here in terms of this matchup today against Getting Info. But we've got the schedule up on your screens right now. Legacy taking on Getting Info here on the B stream, and Exner and Phi to take you all through the action of NRG Nouns, another blockbuster North American affair on the other stream. But B stream obviously stands for best stream, so we've got to have you here for this one. And I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, I am too. And look, we're going to just bring up the standings a little bit for you all to get a little bit of context. And like I was saying, look, it's interesting because when you talk about a team like Getting Info, these guys have been active in the league. They've been doing quite well for themselves in terms of their record, sitting at the 14-2. So really only taking, single losses on the best of ones, with one of them being against Chill Guys, the other one with Vagrants. So interesting, but that's kind of the other side of the coin here, is where we talk about Legacy, where you can see on the right hand side of your screen they're not doing so great, in the sense that, like you were alluding to, Paladin, is the fact that they've given up some of their matches. Things are starting to really mean a lot more now. Like they could be in this weird position where they could get punished for it. So we know they're a good team, and I'll let you explain why they're a good team, but I just felt like we were never going to see them in this kind of a position and giving up so many games early on.
I definitely think they're still going to be all right. I'm not like hitting the panic button just yet, and especially considering they've still got a couple of teams that they've still yet to play, but you are cutting it a bit close, right? I mean, the hand is hovering over that red button of despair, but we haven't gotten there just yet. Losing this game, potentially getting swept here, could be that, but we got to talk about the captain, the new captain of the Legacy team, and that is Lux, who has been absolutely unreal from an individual perspective, and you don't necessarily talk about that all too often in Counter-Strike, but right now it's a rating that's too good to pass up, and it's an exciting one to kind of reference through. 1.2 rating over the last 3 months, which really excites you, and you add that toe-to-toe with some of the likes of Dumao and Lado, who are some of the best riflers within Brazil altogether, and you've got a very potent core of Brazilian riflers, and it's slowly starting to come together with that glue that Nissim provides, and just the captaincy that Lux has kind of dawned on himself out of necessity. Essentially, he wasn't necessarily asked upon it, but after he departed Pain, it feels like he's just been naturally gifted at this ranking, at this stead, because as of right now, Laz, it feels like they can do no wrong. They're doing very well in terms of their records around the various Counter-Strike tournaments that we have.
Yeah, and I mean, just bringing up a little bit of a head-to-head, we thought it'd be interesting to talk a little bit about Dia versus Sodzin, which, I mean, as you can see when you're looking on the left-hand side of the screen, for Dia being on Getting Info, his stats are quite higher, but, I mean, Paladin, I gotta feel like, do we really think this head-to-head really is that heavy of a favor for Dia, or do you think that Sodzin really could, kind of pack a punch, so to speak?
Well, when I see this head-to-head, right, I'm kind of thinking about it from two perspectives. Sodzin isn't necessarily the win condition for Legacy. He doesn't have to be. He can be, but he doesn't have to be. On the other side of the equation, Dia must be the win condition, because right now you've got a roster on Getting Info that is completely in flux. Of course, the MRQs are around the corner, and you've got to find that identity as soon as possible. But they've got to do it without a potential IGL. I don't even believe Carson will be in the server today. They've lost Vanity to retirement, and now at this point, they've got to make this 5-man unit work. They're going to have to play into Ancient as well, which is, I think, one of Legacy's best maps. I think Getting Info do opt in for this, but I think they're going to be up against some stiff competition with Legacy. I think this is their bread and butter. I think this is where Dumao has some very powerful mid-takes on that T side. And then you switch over to that CT side and just a wealth of solid rotations and some great anchoring work from players like Nissim as well. So I feel very heavily in favor of Legacy here to start things out. But of course, this I'm thinking is more of the Getting Info pick. I'm not exactly sure, but that's kind of where I see things when I look at the veto straight away.
Yeah, no, and it's a good point, right? Because a map like this, like, when you look at it on paper, I mean, it's easy to say like Legacy are sitting themselves at a 7-2, like you said. Really, their most recent loss was a little while ago, and that was against 9Z, right? So I mean, that was in Bucharest for the qualifiers, things like that. So it's different, right? But then they were kind of on this winning factor for it, and then really haven't had a loss in probably about over a month and a bit. So it's been pretty good for these guys. Like, clearly they have a good system. A lot of the games have been pretty decent wins, a couple close ones here and there. That's gonna be fine. But when you kind of flip the coin and you talk about Getting Info, I mean, it's a lot of red. It's not as great. It's definitely not convincing to me. Like, in the competition, I would say, respectfully, is probably not as high a level. So when you're losing to teams, in some regard, I feel like this isn't really a good pick for them. But like you said, you got some players from like Dia, his performances. You got some of the Timberman guys. You have some of the former Nouns players on this group. Like, it's kind of a weird mixture, but maybe they can pull something together here, right? That's kind of the unknown factor about Getting Info, but I guess we're going to find out, because we're getting in this darn thing right away.
Okay, so it does look like Carson will be here, so I believe this is that Timberman core that is playing today alongside Shane and Carson, but we'll see how Getting Info fares today as the T side of Legacy go charging in through the donut from middle, trying to solidify this plant straight away and set themselves up for a 5v5 post plant with no kit in play. That's going to leave Getting Info having to pull the trigger as fast as possible. And look at them going flying off to the races. every kill forming into their favor until Lux has something to say about it. But there on the dual Berettas, 10 HP to spare. And getting info do get that flying pistol start straight away.
Yeah, they sure do, right? And I mean, like, it was looking actually pretty decent for Legacy too. Like the fact that it was right down to the wire with like 5 HP to spare on both these guys. Like the mollies were a good placement. It just felt like maybe a little bit of an overpeak at certain times, but nonetheless, I mean, getting info to be able to start the pistol off, that's going to be huge for them, especially on the CT side. It's going to be a nice little bit of a boost. But Legacy going for the plant was great. Just again, going to add some of that coin, but. You know, I think for getting info, like you said, the fact that Carson is here and it is that Timberman core, this to me actually could change things a little bit because I was a little bit, you know, nervous, if I'm going to be honest, that Nunes was kind of playing originally just because he's kind of been not as familiar with the system.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty tried and true combo, but we're still going to try to up the tempo here, Legacy. None of that Mecha's nonsense where they slow the pace of the round down. They just want to keep attacking this A bomb site, and they find themselves to entry. The dink for Sadzin converted into a kill as well. But this C4 still is yet to hit dirt. Finally, they're going to try to plant it yet again behind the default box. And it will go down. 2v2 with Lux hurt means that there's got to be an instant trade, and there it is. Dumao thrust into the clutch against Dia, highest rated player on the other side of the equation, and he's been spotted. But the headshot from Dumao is cleaner, and that fast, aggressive pace onto that A site works the second time around.
I love that too, right? The fact, like you said, it's none of this Niki's, you know, nonsense. It's not taking things super slow. Like these guys were like, you know what? We got Tech 9s. Let's just go for the quick pop at A. Let's not mess around. Let's just go for it. Let's see what happens. And honestly, I think it was even Sodson was able to put himself at the double kill, so that just allowed a lot of space to be created. So I was talking just about getting info, having, you know, the Timberman core. I'm like, yeah, you know, this could be different. And then, you know, I eat my own words here, Paladin. And then they lose some running Tech 9s. It's never going to feel good for any team on that receiving end. But now, I mean, it's kind of an interesting one because Legacy have put themselves in a bit of a power play in the sense that, you know, now, economy-wise, getting info, they're kind of in the dirt.
Oh, yeah. 5-7s do pack a mean punch, though. V-Execute coming in, popping open the smoke, and Dumao will find himself that response. Lotto there to help entry into this site, but Markey still on the B bomb site, lives to get at least one. This bomb should be able to go down to the 3v3. You'd favor the T side, especially considering the lack of utility, the lack of kits, but Carson is pretty fast on this flank. He has an opportunity. If he clears his angles correctly, maybe there's an opportunity. But Lux takes his mark very clearly. Dia caught, or Dare rather, caught with nades in his hands. And the 3v3 is passed with flying colors there by Legacy. And now we get a little bit of a chance to rest our voices and kind of think about this matchup a little bit more.
Yeah, and the one thing I really appreciated that you brought up too, and I think it's actually really important, is the fact that, you know, when we talk about the stats of this getting info team is, you know, I think you use the phrase is like, you know, Dia is the winning factor. Like, he has to be performing, whereas someone like Sodson is not necessarily that case. So it's interesting because it really does put a lot more pressure on a team like getting info to have a player like that, because if he doesn't perform, I mean, you're going to have a bad time. Let's just be honest.
I will say Markey is that player that I'm a little bit more excited for, where I've seen the kind of takeover maps he's had in his career, and I still think that he's got that juice to produce, but it comes back to the fact that this team is such a hodgepodge roster, right? We don't necessarily know what the MRQ roster is going to look like. Is it going to have Shane in it? Is it going to have Carson still in the ranks? I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but the fact of the matter is you've got two pieces that are very exciting, that in Markey and Dia, that no matter what roster they do pose, you're looking at these two guys and you're saying, what can you produce? What can the supporting cast around them help to facilitate these two players? And I guess the only time will tell. Games like this really do answer those questions a little bit more. And again, as we inch ever closer to Austin, I think we'll have the full story. But for right now, the guns will come back out for getting info. No AWP for Dia to start things off. But we'll see if they can keep up with this up-tempo style that Legacy have showcased in the first 2 rounds. I don't necessarily know if they're going to do it again, but it's certainly getting info off guard for those initial entries.
Yeah, it really is. I'm liking the tempo change. Oh man, they're gonna do it again. Oh boy, yes indeed they will. Instead of just lurking everything out, I mean, getting info, yes, they've got the intel that mid is going to be in their control, but it's been the cost of Legacy being able to get a free A site. And already now you got some players deep in temple, pushing through. Lana's able to find the first opening duel, so the power player we talked about, Dia, he's already removed as a threat. Now maybe even Marky, the person that you said, the juice to produce, or I can't even remember the phrase you used. I mean, now there's a lot of reliance on him, but this is a tough one because, again, you got the 5-on-4 and the post plants again. The positioning is great, and now these guys have to get a kill or two quickly. Otherwise, they might just have to abandon the ship and just let this one go, and it's starting to look like that's going to be the case because now everybody's just getting picked apart from Dumal here in CT spawn, and I don't even think we're going to see Dare survive. Indeed, we will not, and Dumal going on a hunting spree and finds himself a triple kill.
That's what you love to see if you're a Brazilian fan. Legacy tearing through that A defense, and it's such a sick call from Lux. It's a very tried and true method that, you know, once the guns come out for the CTs, they're gonna try to go for mid control. They're gonna probably put an extra body there, so why not call the air pop straight away? That instant execution, running smokes as well, it completely catches the CTs off guard. There's nobody on the site proper, and honestly, add insult to injury, you're getting kills through smoke if you're Lux. And from then on out, it's easy breezy once that bomb goes down. But here's a little bit of aggression. The lane crunch looks good, but the trades are even better here for Legacy. Guns are recovered, or should be recovered. Sadzin blows one away. Try their hand here. Marky as well. That's Dia up in a clutch, and there's just so many bodies that getting info have to get through, and they never can really chew through that T side. And Legacy will bound their way to a quick 5-1 start here.
Yeah, it's a really nice start, and I'm kind of wondering, you know, especially if getting info or getting kind of ready to get the timeout maybe ready to go too, because I mean, look, I mean, we're in round 7. I mean, you're down by 4. I mean, this is going to be the purchase, but I imagine if this round does not come through for getting info, we must be able to see a stop on this. Like, they got to be able to get some control back in this game, because Legacy have honestly been able to find some pretty convincing rounds. They're just going to hightail it once again. They're not even going to wait. They're going to abuse the Molotovs. And like you said, Lux is somebody that's been a player to watch. And he's able to find a decent opener with finally a little bit of reply from Dare, but it could just be a little bit too late now. I mean, the players are doubling cave, but they're just getting already bombarded with utility. This is already looking worse for wear right now, Paladin. I do not like this for getting info. They might just, again, need to keep these guns in the pocket. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, they're just not winning fights at this point. That's one of those situations where they've just got to stand and deliver, but losing cave, losing long as fast as they are, really is a cause for concern. Shane and Marky out of their depth. And yet again, Dumao smells blood in the water. He wants to go hunting, and he'll find this first bit of prey. Dia and Carson, tail between legs, gonna try to scamper away. And they should be fine. I don't think Dumao's gonna overstep the mark here, but getting out of hand. Oh, Dia would have loved to get that one at the end of it, but still 6 rounds the good here for Legacy, and Lux is putting on a clinic here. Yes, he only has 3 kills so far, but he is doing the damage from a calling perspective.
You know, and it's such a good point you bring up too. It's just like, if the gunfights, it just feels like Legacy are just so many tiers above right now, right? And they're just winning every single situation. Nobody on getting info has really been able to like hit a punch at all. It just feels like they're the punching bags. I mean, this is one of the coolest things we've seen the whole time, as Carson goes with a nice little bit of a boost. Might be able to get himself a nice double, okay, but him and Marky together, nice little bit of a jab cross. It will find something of success, puts him in a man advantage, which has not happened at all this game. Legacy realizing, you know what? Let's take A. Let's go back to this site. Let's just get control. We're going to be able to run into this. The M4 makes some damage, not able to get the kill. Now the post plant comes in, but there's Dia already close onto their tail. Now they have to go for the hunt. This is where numbers could be an advantage for getting info, but it dwindles quickly. Leaving it now for Legacy. Playing the one-on-ones. Now they're going to be using Dumao and Donut. Sodzin going to be the one that just burns the time from Big Box. Now Shane and Marky Needing to find something, a little bit of a tag against Marky. Smokes come in, sods in to get the perfect timing, and there it is. Not even the diffuser, and he's able to find a kill. And now Shane is just kind of scratching his head, wondering how in the hell have we lost this situation. And Ninja defused though. Oh no way, not like this, and it will get defused. I was thinking it was never gonna happen. And Shane even able to pick up a collat for insult to injury.
That's insane. I mean, Legacy play that as well as they can. You know, you've got the player in Donut falling all the way back, forcing the 5-7 to cut distance. And you've even got the player stuck in A main, but I don't know, maybe he picked up a kit there or something. I don't know how that defuse came through as fast as it did. But that smoke, I think, really just caused some concern there for Legacy. Unaware of where it was positioned, and the spams were just off the mark on both ends. But they're going to go back to this mid take, and Dumal will consistently find damage. Instant entry and mid control makes this a great round for Legacy. And they've pushed Marky off of front jag as well. So every little bit of contentious map control in the favor of the T's.
Yeah, look at how well they're just getting map control too, right? Like Legacy is just point a finger and they get it. Like you said, I mean, Marky's had to reposition himself now, and Diaz does have the op, so this will be a nice little bit of a boost for them, hopefully. But back to a 4-4. Smoke's gonna be in place here nicely on long, but again, is it gonna be enough though? And Legacy's still kind of committed to this. Now we're starting to see the CT rifles maybe ignite a little bit more. A big advantage right now for getting info. Nissim should be a dead man, and indeed he will be. Unless we see something heroic from Lux. I mean, this is gonna have to hit every shot, but man, that was crispy. Just wasn't enough.
It felt like he read the flick back, and that's why I was believing there just for a short second. But a little bit overzealous there from Legacy. They tried to jump through the lane smoke, and I don't necessarily know if they necessarily needed to, especially considering you've got front jag control. You could advance back, re-clear out mid, maybe go back A late. It's a site that you've been able to get a lot of great rounds in your favor. But maybe that first misstep that I've really seen from Legacy, I'll give them a pass on the Ninja, but here, that's one of those that maybe could have slowed down just a little bit. But this space has been very kind to them, and the opening kills have been very kind as well. Shane will fall, and this B-bomb site also a problem. Carson thinking of trying to pull things back with a deep nade, blows a smoke open, and Dumal gets caught with his pants down. Getting info tight back to a 4-on-4, but there's still threats looming around every corner. There's still Lux close on Donut, and you've still got B utility coming through.
Yeah, this Marky and Dara setup is decent, but again, oh, I was gonna say he's not able to spot the eye. Look at that. Oh, that just sucks. He knows exactly. He's got the perfect read. It's more about, is he gonna be right or is he gonna be left? And unfortunately for him, he doesn't get the gamble. He doesn't get it correctly. So getting info, good job and able to win a fight that I was thinking Lotto might have been able to mastermind his way to getting, something done in Jag, but now getting info, finally getting themselves a little bit back in fighting form like we were kind of expecting. It took a while. It took some beating, but unless we see something from Nissim on the clutch here for 25 seconds, might be able to get himself into the safe side across for a plant potentially. The noise cue is going to be made. CT is going to be hot on his tail. But this post plant is going to be so critical here because, again, he has to be able to get the plant down, then has to either reposition himself towards a main or even re-aggress into Donut. But looks like he wants to go for the fight. Nice shot against Marky. Still knowing that one player is there at least. Not even hesitating anywhere else. Now he's put his eyes on the prize here of Donut. Look at the one-on-one fights from Dare, and he's going to be able to find it. So, all right. Job gets done nicely here from getting info.
I was a little worried there. Crosshair was just slightly off, preparing for more of a headshot angle, but Nissim makes it close. Really odd situation there in Cave. I mean, when you see a backpack like that, I would really consider just a close right angle, but yeah, I think the left angle also is a very powerful crossfire at that point. It is a 50-50, and he just chooses wrong. And I think what makes it worse is the fact that his teammate behind him had either a knife out or a utility, and just gets caught completely with no chance to trade. And if you could at least go 1-for-1 there, considering he had the bomb, you could completely write it off and say, okay, it's all fine. But instead, Legacy are down to their last pennies. Back 10 on Sadzin, and to make matters worse, Dare's found one straight through the smoke. Legacy now have to slow it down in a man disadvantage against a getting info squad that's slowly starting to heat up here, lads.
Yeah, they really are. They're starting to look a lot better. Honestly, I was just so surprised, like, just how bad of a beating it was, and they weren't calling a timeout. They weren't doing anything at all. I was thinking, something's wrong. But you know what? Maybe they just really needed a couple slaps, and now they're feeling a lot better, because right now they've been able to win these opening fights. They've been able to put themselves in better positions so far. And now Legacy have shown us they have some good tactics, but now they're going to go right back for the donut control that they get, but it's Dia. Threat here, the playmaker. Now needing to come up even bigger because his teammate Carson's going to go down quickly. So Dia's going to have to unfortunately play the retake position, but all 4 players in CT spawn. But what do we see from Legacy? This is important again. Utility has been dispersed. Nothing available. It's just the AKs now. Lotto down to 12 HP. So leaving a lot of reliance here that Lotto's going to have to be the sacrificial lamb on this. Here's the noise cue. Not able to find the duel. I think there's only the one piece of utility, but Sodzen's able to find this double kill. This makes things a little bit more interesting now. Getting info. A tease to the defuse. A swing coming in. Nissan with the kill, and now the defuse gets on, but he's going to stick it. You got to go. You got to get these shots. Oh my god, just barely again.
He keeps thinking that deal will get off of it, and especially if you got donut control there, it's hard to stick the bomb because you know it's a pretty much a death trap. But Legacy, they love their A post plants, man. They've been just getting it done in the clutch. Yes, they've had a couple of missteps here and there, but for the most part, they understand those angles to a T, and they're really pushing getting info to the brink. And now you can see the potency of this rifle core, the clutch potential out of any player on this Legacy roster, and how this unit is quickly switching to another gear as an NA major looms. And what a time to do it. Trying to get past whatever hump they were on for months at a time in the 2024 season and become much, much better than what these pieces have shown in months past. They've got a real opportunity to do it. Showing that kind of form right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, with the last minute remaining too. A little bit more patience now. See, and now they're trying to go for the pounce, and alright, so this cheat of Markinel able to take him out with a double kill. Alright, the MP9 is able to make some connections. Sodzen once again. Somebody we were talking about doesn't need to be a playmaker. Looking like that might be the case here on T side of Ancient. Now leaving it to the 2-on-4, but there's a big flank right now from Dumao. This is a critical position from him, but I think he's been compromised. All 3 CTs seem to have an idea of it. And now all of a sudden this round is really just flipped around on its head. Leaving Sodzen now in a tough moment, in a tough position here to make the connections. 4 bullets in the chamber, 4 enemies, able to find the one. Quick switching back, not gonna matter because getting info, they just able to get themselves the first half with a 5, and we'll see you in a few minutes after the break.
You feel like something new. You feel like something. You feel like something new. You feel like something. Don't just stop it. Doing what you do. When I lay back, holding on to you. Ooh, ooh. Feel like something new. Yeah. Got my senses here on overload. All my body is for you to hold. Ooh,
All right, folks, we're ready to go back into the second half of the first best of one. And of course, Getting Info took a bit of a slow start, but at least they can get themselves 5 rounds to end the first. And now Legacy going to be able to showcase us, Paladin, a little bit of what they can do on that defensive side.
This is where I feel like they do some of their best work. There's a lot of great tethering between these teams, these teammates. And we'll see what they've got in store to start off. It's a B execution here from Getting Info, but their dual Berettas lying right around the corner. Luxtra's gonna go to town, but he gets knocked up with only one. Lotto's there to trade instantly, and Sadzin alongside him finding kills, but it's Nissim through the smoke, and Nissim with a triple. That's an impactful couple of kills there from the anchor, and he just shuts it down. Any chance of a comeback is stopped.
Oh boy, yeah, and I mean, it's so obvious to say the pistol means a lot, but I mean, for Getting Info in this kind of a case, it really just felt like it, right? And just in terms of them building some momentum on the first, and then getting this pistol would have just allowed this to be a really, really close encounter. But now, Legacy have just made that a whole heck of a lot harder for Getting Info. But I'm actually kind of surprised here, Paladin. I mean, you know, a lot of teams have a weird mixture on their second round when they win, but I'm actually surprised to see how many FAMASas and, you know, the M4 that we have equipped on this one.
Well, they're really backing the mechanics of these players, but it's the SMG of Lotto that's going to do the damage anyways. Should be all good now for Legacy to get themselves their 9th, but you already see the kind of potency in that pistol round between players playing off of each other, right? I mean, you've got Lux taking that first contact, but you've got 2 players already in the back of the default. You've already got a player off of long as well, and a rotating player from short. And there's that instant, like, bob and weave for every single shot taken was perfect. It set people up beautifully, and it's probably a bit more of a tale as to what you're going to see in the rest of the second half, if I had to guess. But it does get a little tougher now with Getting Info getting their rifles on the board. Instant smoke into the lane, and they'll be stopped right at the feet of T-Spawn.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, when, you know, a good CT team has the utility to be able to block, you know, the B main door like this, and just double mollies and things like that, like, when you have the right timing and the right spawns for it, it makes such an impact against the T's, right? Because now you can just see the 4 that were just sitting back here, and again, like, they don't have a lot to work with. Now their smoke is going to push them through. So they either have to burn some utility, which, again, is limited. Let's not forget, they don't have the flashes to just pop through this. They have 1 flash available. So Marky's going to literally have to hit the best banger ever for his teammates to kind of flood out of this. But right now, they could even pull back, looking like that's going to be the case in this one. So maybe they re-aggress for mid-control. I mean, this is a little awkward because time's ticking.
They've just thrown a 3rd smoke there, and maybe that goads them into a false sense of security, thinking that there are 3 players here. There was a 3rd player rotating back over, but that molly should slow things down. Now the mid-clear late round comes from Getting Info. Dumal will get that first spot, and he gets a little bit of a pick, so he'll call his teammates over, but they've got to come through right now. Incendiary's down. Nissim burns out a second, and now it's all up to Dumal. They're never clearing out this angle, and he'll find himself a quick 2-piece as well. It's all up to Dia coming in from A main, but that rotation's finally come through, and it's double digits for Legacy.
Double digits indeed. So 10-5 we go, and you know, I was kind of getting nervous, I'm going to be honest, Paladin, like the fact that, you know, Legacy was putting, again, so much emphasis in the utility on the B door. I was kind of thinking like mid was open. I mean, they had this system where I think it was Dumao kind of like floating in donut and things like that. But again, their protocols are honestly just next level, right? I mean, that's where we were kind of talking about, you know, a team that has a pretty abysmal record right now in ECL. Like they really are that team, and you know, the VRS points that are so close to pushing themselves in decent category. Oh my God, and that's kind of why too. And things are just looking problematic unless, you know, we could see something big with Garrett. It's rewarded with an AK. He will not. But now his teammates needing to bring pistols to the gunfight, and they're not doing bad here. But I mean, this timing is Shane. He might be able to find it, but oh no. Oh dear, no. He's just shot a bit too early on it. Now looking for another fight. Get eaten alive, and now Dia by himself. I don't even know where he's going to go at this point.
To his death, most likely. Nothing but a Tech 9 and a flashbang. Can't even pick any weapons up either. It's going to have to be a straight duel to Nissim. Nissim calls for backup, and he doesn't need backup. Of course he doesn't. He's Nissim, 15-9 now. 11 rounds the good. I mean, even in that setup there that they had on that ace site, they understood that there's only 2 players there and there's a bit of an opening. They hold that incendiary, though, for so long. And not only do getting info have to waste a smoke there, but they've got to go... Essentially, the last 2 players have got to go gray screen. And that means you're going to be skipping angles. You're going to have to basically have your crosshair on one position on the map. And that gives a free, easy bait and switch setup for Dumao. It's just so nice to see that they're already thinking steps ahead when they've got an idea in mind. Their idea, they're going to continue to smoke off B main. They're going to hold on to lane for as long as possible, and they're going to spend as much utility as possible as well. But in the case that that doesn't work out and they don't come popping through the smoke, how do we hold on to A? And that's the perfect solution. I mean, they've got every T crossed, they've got every I dotted, and it just feels like they can't miss a beat. This is an elite Ancient team.
It really is, and that's what we were kind of talking about in the pre-show, you know, on the desk, is just the fact that, you know, we can argue a lot what's on the paper about records and how well they've been able to perform, but really, I feel like for a team like Legacy, it stays true to it, right? That's where we were saying 7-2. They played some really good competition on this. They really haven't taken too many losses, and they've been a pretty big widespread of the losses, right? Like earlier just recently, and then the last one was like over a month and something ago. So it makes a huge difference, whereas getting info, you know, I think you made a really good point in the beginning, was talking about kind of an awkward like identity crisis a little bit, because they're still kind of flip-flopping the rosters. We lost Vanity earlier on. Like, there's all these things that are happening behind the scenes for these guys. So it always makes it not the easiest situation to play in those kind of like internal playing conditions. But that's where, you know, we also said that what makes this an interesting matchup is the fact that Legacy have just given up so many matches. And, I mean, they should be fine theoretically, but like you said, they have to be able to come in with 2-0s, pretty much never taking a loss, just to making sure they really can get that guaranteed bare minimum top 10 spot.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if Legacy went to South America and failed in a lot of their qualifiers, but they've done a very good job in terms of getting everything that they needed out of that stint back at home. And now I think they've kind of got this rejuvenated sense to them when they come back to the States and they say, okay, we've just got to put pedal to the metal and just win out. It's a very simple question for them, and I don't think they really care about where they're going to be placed in the bracket. They've got that swagger to them right now, where no matter what the placing is, whether they start in the lower bracket or not, they should be contending for that spot at Pro League. And I mean, it just gets more and more cutthroat as every season goes on, you like to think, because this time we don't have 2 spots to give, we only have the 1. And you know, with NRG hounding for a repeat appearance, with Blue Jays jumping up the ranks with their good LAN appearances, it just feels like Legacy belongs in that conversation too. But of course they've got to get there, and this is that first step. If they can get over this hump, I think they'll cruise through no problem, because after that they've got a lot of teams that I think they're very capable of beating, even with some of the harder hitters still around the corner. They've still got to play Nouns, I believe. They've still got to play Marsborn, and they haven't played NRG yet. So those are the 3 kind of top dogs that I think that are kind of remaining as of right now that they haven't played. And as soon as they get that out of the way, it does feel like they can win any game that's thrown at them. And even those games that I mentioned, I think those are very doable as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point because like it's easy to talk about, the competition because really getting info for me, despite them being, like again, we talked about the records, right? Like the opposite records, like 14-2, definitely impressive. And I mean, what actually I thought was pretty interesting in the very beginning, I think of the year was the fact that getting info was able to find like, wins over NRG, which I mean, now we talk about Energy right in their current form. Like they've been playing a lot more internationally. They've been getting some good experience. That was kind of the early iteration of that roster. So you can call it whatever you want. But yeah, I think for Legacy, once they're going to be able to play some of these other teams, like the higher level teams in ECL, that's where a lot of things are going to get definitely really, really interesting just because there's a lot at stake, right? I mean, for them, like they have a lot to prove. We know that they have a capability of being a pretty decent international team, but like when we talk about VRS points and the fact for this league, there's a lot riding for them. They have to just make sure that they can do just enough to get themselves those points, and that's always a big conversation too. I think we could talk about even the VRS points for forever, but just how complicated it is. But it makes things even more interesting in the sense of how much is at stake for so many of these teams, right?
It's very weird. They had this new addendum, and I don't necessarily know if that's in place yet, but essentially you're going to have to wait until the entire event is over for the VRS points to count. So everything that's being notched here for ECL will not count towards Austin because the event won't be done until May 10th, which is like around the corner. The invites would have already been given out by that point. So as far as ECL is concerned, it's like that's not the pressure for them. I think their eyes are more set upon how can we get that Pro League spot. I mean, you've seen what NRG was able to get out of it, and they got a couple of solid victories and a couple of good map victories as well, pushed a lot of top teams. And I think that for Legacy, they would love to be in that situation again, and luckily for them, they will be at a top tier event in the near future. Another event that I don't think necessarily will count for VRS, considering I think the cutoff is April 7th for MRQ invites. I might be wrong on that. Please don't hold me to a standard there. But in that situation, it's just nice that they've got opportunities now. They qualified to Dallas as well. So a very busy schedule for Legacy, and honestly, I think there is a real world where they can ride that momentum all the way to the major, to start at stage 1 if they want to and kind of climb their way up. I think this team is capable. I think this is one of those teams that have very quietly gone under the radar. I mean, you've got so many high profile teams right now in South America that are getting a lot of eyeballs. When you look at Fluxo with Art, when you look at Red Canids with Cold Zera, and you look at Imperial with Vinny, but you got all those splashy names, but under the hood of it all, Legacy have been very quietly accumulating points, winning games right in front of them against top opposition. And I think they are one of those sleeper teams that are going to be very surprising when it comes to that MRQ range, because obviously they're not going to get the invites. They're not close enough to nab that. That's Furia's job. But when it comes down to the MRQs, I think when you've got to give out 3 spots to any one of these teams, I think this team is very quickly at the top of it because, again, there's so many teams in flux right now that I can't necessarily even say that I've got a clear favorite across the board. I think I'd say maybe Legacy. I'd say maybe I had one right in my face. I completely forgot. Fluxo, yeah, Fluxo have improved a lot as well. Now that they've added MLH in, he's been really good. I've really been liking him. And I believe there's got to be a third team. Come on now. Let's pull it up. Oh yeah, Bestia is pretty good. Bestia's okay, and it looks like Imperial are also in that conversation. So there's a lot of competition there for those 3 spots at stage 1. But as you can tell, we've got a little bit of a tech issue. We're sorting it out. We're gonna get back in a game soon, but we've got plenty of time to just talk about the scene as it is. And I don't know, man. I'm getting very excited for Austin. Of course, I'm going to be a viewer there. I'm very excited to attend my first major. I haven't had the chance to be there as a viewer ever. So that'll be really fun. It's in my home state, so that'll be really cool. And you got all these teams, man, and it's like I feel like this is one of those times where I'm so tapped. I like when I was in 2018 with the Boston major. I don't think I was nearly as tapped in. I mean, I was watching pretty closely, but I feel like now with how my job and working with all these teams and then watching all these teams, seeing the possibilities happen right before you, and you get to potentially see these teams there. It's a very exciting thing, don't you think?
Yeah, honestly, it is, and like you said, it's definitely one of those interesting things when any viewer, hopefully, some people in the chat are also going to the major, just because that's a whole other thing, right? It's just like a different experience. It'll be my first time seeing a major as well, so get to watch like one of the highest level competitions, which makes it even more exciting. And that's again, going into the facts about the VRS system, where I was kind of wondering how that was going to work out for teams going, and I didn't know if there would be any weird changes right before, things like that. So I mean, it's such an exciting time for CS. It really, really is. Like, I feel like we can always say that, but I feel like 2025 has already proven to be really good so far, with a lot of really good events, with a mixture of results as well. So the fact that the major's only a couple months away is kind of crazy to think about, and it's a lot to digest, but it makes it really fun. So heck yeah.
Yeah, the mixture of results is what makes me so excited, because it reminds me a lot of tournaments of old, where we would have tier 1 tournaments all the time, and you wouldn't have all the teams showing up, so you would have various different teams winning through, and you wouldn't really have the answers until something like a Cato, like a Cologne, or a major, where everybody was there. And I feel like that's kind of happening now. Of course, Vitality clearly are that team to beat. Everybody's in an arms race to kind of topple them before we head to Austin. But down in NA and SA, I think there's a lot of really exciting things going on there too. I mean, I looked at the MRQ list, and man, the best part is you got everyone there. Like, you got everyone that you could want, and I'm not skipping anybody. I think it's going to be as cutthroat as it could possibly be, and there's no free wins. Like, NA MRQ, M80, Complexity, NRG, Blue Jays, Nouns, PA, Mars weren't getting info. Like, that is, like, those are objectively the 8 best teams that we can have. And we've put in the right teams as well to move forward. Wildcard and Liquid on those NA spots. But folks, we're back in the game. We should be ready to go for Legacy taking on Getting Info, and 2 teams that are in that MRQ stage as of right now, of course, barring anything crazy from happening. But that really kind of puts the gravitas and puts the scale factor on this game here specifically, and what's at stake for teams like Legacy, like Getting Info, that are knocking at the door at potentially playing in the big state of Texas.
It definitely is, yeah, and it's very true. So, look, it was a nice break, good little podcast session from us, and thank you all for bearing with us. We were just waiting for some tech issues, and 11-5 looks like it is going to be the score, and we're ready to go back into this. And Getting Info needing to be able to pull something through. I mean, this is where we said Legacy have put themselves in a great veto position. Now we're going to see them once again get this mid control, and even Dumal. Yeah, he's a little bit impatient. He wants to just go for the duels right away, but it's actually Nissim that's able to start things off. But again, Dumal might be able to get the timing of this. These guys are not waiting for him. And oh man, Marky, I don't know why he predicts this, but he's able to find it. And now Sodzin can't even be able to find the crossing through that smoke. So this is interesting now, Paladin, and Getting Info. I was thinking things were looking a little worse for wear, but they seem to show a bit of pulse and some life in this round still.
Ooh, Sadzin misses a sitter. It feels like that one should have connected, but he's going to go hungry for more. Has got the dance between the Molotov and the smoke, but look at that, man. Carson pushing through the utility, and he'll find himself a second. Lotto now thrust into the 1v3, and this one is a toughie. Getting Info live to fight another day, and it's at a very opportune time when their backs are furthest against the wall. Oh, Carson misses one with the AWP. But a couple of chances there for Legacy to close, and Getting Info do pounce on those mistakes.
Yeah, what a weird round. Like, even the fact that Sodzin was so close, and I thought he was maybe going to get that shot off through the smoke, but not a bad round. I mean, Legacy, once again, like, they put themselves in a good amount in the beginning of this, But it was just, you know, losing that mid control is a little bit dire. And the fact that Dumao played such an aggressive angle, I like the idea. The fact that he pushed on, you know, B short like that. But unfortunately, the fact that, you know, Markey, I have no idea what Markey would even peek that, like, turn around. Like, I guess he might have saw him maybe through the edge of the smoke or something. I have no idea, but that honestly saved them because Dumao was in a position where he could have just waited things out. He could have played a little bit more patient, and he might have been able to find a double kill. So that really could have turned things around. So I got to give it to Markey. I put him as like a round MVP just in terms of maybe not all the kills, but just that one duel alone, in my perspective, made a huge impact.
Yeah, could have shut down the round before it even begun, and Getting Info will have to thank him for the good looks there. But this time B lane granted to them pretty swimmingly. Dumao goes jumping through the smoke and doesn't catch. Another awkward timing. This time Carson the benefactor. And Lotto cannot help his teammate even though he's pushed some T's back. That nade might be good for some damage, and it absolutely is. Brings Dare down to a striking 4 HP. But Getting Info got everything they were looking for. And to make matters worse, they found Sadzin as well. That's just a dry swing there from Shane. And Getting Info bearing down on Legacy round by round here. And instead of pulling the trigger on all this B lane control, they're going to go back to middle, back to Red Room, and back to Donut. And this is where Nissim has got to really make a decision. Does he want to commit to cutting off the Red Room rotation, or does he want to play on A? And it looks like the former. And as soon as that bomb hits the ground, he's just going to turn around, tuck tail back to that B bomb site, and save. But with the money accrued now for Getting Info, the hunt is definitely advisable.
Yeah, I think this would be a good, it could definitely happen right now, just in terms like they got all 5 players. They can definitely sacrifice a person or two. I mean, it would definitely be worth it because it would make a huge impact. Oh, Lux, I was going to say he might be able to find the shot off here, but at least the trade back. And now this is where you can see Getting Info. I mean, they're still kind of committing. It looks like Carson might be the one that's going to try to go for this one more time. Lotto, surprisingly, still kind of jiggling this fight. But he might get outnumbered, but I guess that's just going to not allow him to get this op. And I mean, maybe he might be able to, and indeed he will. Unless we see a big swing here, and Dare's actually going to go down. So kind of a weird sort of an exit round and them keeping guns. But yeah, he's going to be able to preserve it. And man, this thing just keeps getting weirder and weirder with the round we go.
And now I believe we're just going to get game audio back in. So apologies once more. We're just going to get that sorted out real quick. But I do think this is one of those situations now where they've run out of money. And Legacy will not be able to close just yet. At least you'll have the opportunity for just getting Sadzin back on that AWP. And we'll see what he can get done there. But you can start to see the ideas from Getting Info looking a little stronger, being a little bit more confident in their approach to taking some map control, being a little bit more gung-ho about taking lane, fighting middle there accordingly as well. And unfortunately, they've just not, on the Legacy side, it's been Dumao that's just been getting unlucky. He's basically had a couple of multi-kills on a silver platter, and the timing has eluded him twice now. And because of that, all of a sudden the game is slowed to a crawl, and they cannot close. So, not what you'd like to see, but at least you've got that to kind of think about. They're not going to just roll over here, right? They're not deflated by this comeback happening. They know what can be fixed in due time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, honestly, like, when I kind of think of teams like Legacy, you know, I even if, like, they've lost a couple rounds in a row, like, they got a good amount of rounds in their favor. Things are looking all right. Getting Info really are the team that I always kind of question, you know, about, like, mental strength and stuff like that, and being able to bring things back. So, like I said, I was kind of surprised at the way the first half went. Like, it was looking like it was going to be a quick game, but they proved me wrong. They're able to make themselves a little bit more have a fighting chance, and oh man, you talk about fighting chance. I was thinking Sods might have been able to get himself a second life, maybe. Thinking he was going to be a cat, 9 lives, but instead he's only got the 1, and now the spam with Dia. So this thing's falling apart quickly. Aggressive swing from Nissim, surprisingly. I don't know why he goes for it on his lonesome. A nice pop flash from Dumel. Ooh, he gets rewarded with an AK. But again, he does have the armor, so he doesn't have to worry about the aim punch. But again, gonna have to worry about bullets going to the face, because that's gonna be a mark. And now, oh my God, Lotto, the last minute timing there. Down to the 1v1. Dare able to pick up this bomb, but he's gonna hightail it. He's gonna make his way into the safe site. He's got the smoke as well, so that's gonna get thrown potentially for CT, so he can get himself a decent reposition. Oh God, Paladin. He's just gonna commit to the open plant. Instead, he's gonna just. This is so ballsy.
But now all the pressure back on Alato. No kit. Very capable opper. Has secondaried a number of times, but now he's the only one left standing. He's given up his position. Molly's off temple. He's gonna have to shirk back, but with so many angles to clear and not enough time, Alato will just have to head for the hills. And that was a save. You know, they can still reinvest in the round following, but they would have loved to have notched 12 with that one. Especially with all the good work that Sadzin did, with the quick flank from Dumao as well. But at the end of the day, 3 rounds now racked up in a row for getting info. Legacy will have to start thinking long hard about what's coming next, because it's getting a little close for comfort.
Yeah, honestly, like, let's not forget, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was like, I feel like it was like 6-2 at one point? 6-1? 5-1? Yeah, 6-1, and like, again, like, it's just been getting info, putting themselves back in good fighting form. I was thinking maybe they were going to be able to find this, so Lotto this time is going to try the Dumao Express here, and that pop smoke, oh man, you gotta get out there. Now Lux might be able to go for the backstab, and indeed he will. Good coordination. The fact that Lotto was able to stay alive was critical in that play. So the fact they're able to do that and play the buddy system like this has just put them in a strong position with a 5-on-2. Dia and Dare, though, I mean, again, these guys are some of the top fraggers on this team. So not a bad situation to be in. But again, look at that bomb. It's in the worst position for them. This might be a tough one to go for. I mean, they got a molly on Dia. They also have the HE. Good. They could try to flush some of these players out if they want, but it's all about the timing. And Dia has to be able to good distraction point here. He has to be able to allow Dare to go for the swing. But unfortunately, you can only find the one. So this round should be in favor here for Legacy to get themselves to that point. And indeed they will. Dumao equips the big green. 12 on the board.
I would call that an unlosable round there, Laz, in that situation. Bomb down the front of lane. A player watching mid, a player watching doors. That's an open and shut case. And finally, they've been looking for that lane control, the aggression up on top of the boxes, and finally Lotto can get up there safely, somewhat. Makes a lot of noise, but does allow for Lux to come through and save the day. All this damage that Legacy have been doing, they're hampered by to defend. Good grenade open the smoke. Nissim finds one, but his teammate falls instantaneously. They're charging into this A-bomb site. Here comes the cavalry. Lotto here, alongside his trusty duo in the leave it all up to Shane and Carson. Leave it just to Shane, and that's it. As quickly as that comeback started, Laz, it ends just as swiftly. Legacy get themselves 13 rounds on the board, and they start off this series hot.
Yeah, they really do. And honestly, like, it was a really strong start in the beginning. Kind of fizzled a little bit, kind of slowed down a little bit. But you know what? At the end of the day, Legacy, they get it done. They get themselves that one win. So, like I said, I mean, they were putting themselves, you know, not the greatest record when they were going into this. I mean, the fact that when we're looking at their rank, yeah, it was okay. Like, it wasn't, you know, it's not really the best. 6-8 now puts this at a 7-8. But, you know, a win by each time is just going to allow them to slowly climb this ladder, which is very, very important. But a 13-8 is definitely going to be a nice cherry on top for these guys. But the other thing is too, Paladin, we also have another best of one here with these two teams to go against each other, which again makes it even more exciting for the fact of, you know, what are we going to get out of the vetoes, and what is Getting Info going to be able to do differently than what we just saw now.
I believe that the next map is Train, so we'll see how that actually unfolds, but we're gonna have to take a little bit of a break and get those answers just a little bit later. And once we do come back, it will be that second map in this best of one series between Legacy and Getting Info. We'll see you in a little bit.
I feel like I'm in another galaxy. Take my time in your eternity. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Feel like something new. Yeah. And I never thought that I got me wanted. Never thought that never thought that never thought that I'd be saying you feel more like a dream. Yeah, feel like sunlight. Feel like sunlight. Feel like sunlight. Feel like sunlight. Feel like sunlight.
I pack my suitcase, headed out the door. I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home. A couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
Miles past, turning back, found my track, face the fact she a cold one. Never gonna settle for none. Stay up every night till I won. Don't want a slow rise now. I'm confident opulence isn't a long ride out. When I look back now, I'm astounded. A quiet boy from old age, but always felt the world was a stage, yeah. I celebrate one last late night, my whole life.
my suitcase, headed out the door, I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home, a couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
I'm headed to LA. I'm headed on my way. I'm headed on my way to LA. Headed on my way soon.
Couple thousand miles, throw it on the dash. Shit, the 10,000 hours, can't let them pass. Yeah, well, I was putting time in, you was pulled up wildin'. You always had shit to say, now when I see you, it's silence. Thought I'd have a Grammy by 25. Commas after commas next to dollar sign, yeah. To remind myself why I'm living this life. Look at all the late nights, it'll all come in due time, yeah.
Made for the fight, for the pain and the climb. Tied to the life I chose. Stay through the night, another day, not a dime. Race against time. I couldn't just lay by and wonder what I could have made mine. I'm closing on the moment, no one's gonna hold me down.
I pack my suitcase, headed out the door, I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home, a couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
Headed on my way, I'm headed on my way to LA. Headed on my way. They told me go to what you love. I never knew what that was, but even when I make time, I think of all I've given up. I wish it wouldn't be so hard, 'cause you're the one that gets slided. You say I don't make time for anyone, and you ask my mind is occupied. It's hard to vent, I understand. Have you ever loved someone but know that there was more? I don't wanna be tied, hanging by your side. I don't wanna be tied, tethered to my pride. Hate to waste your time. Go and live your life. It's something that I've felt for so time. But as the moment of time go by, safety nets are overrated. Yeah, if you make one, you will fall. Too much of a temptation. Yeah, there's a comfort in the crawl. Now I've been on my feet too long. I know I'm strong, just looking for some solid ground.
back, everybody. We're ready to go for the second best of one here for ESL Challenger League in Season 49 North America. And this is where we get to see Legacy taking on Getting Info one more time. And we get to see what's going to happen. And it looks like it might be on Train this time around here, Paladin. So things get a little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting potentially.
I've got confirmation that it's actually Nuke. That might have been a little bit. Yeah. I mean, Legacy's perma's Train. I don't know how he would have ever ended up there in the first place, but here's the veto for you. Ancient, having not been played, banned by Legacy. So yeah, it was Legacy's pick at the end of it all. They'll ban Train. They'll ban Mirage. Interesting that they'll ban out Mirage. I guess that is Getting Info's best map in a lot of ways. And then Dust 2 being taken out, another map that they've been vying for. But there's a lot of similar map pool being shared across the board, and I think Legacy will be happy with it going to Nuke as well, because this is another one of those maps where I do feel like Sodzin understands how to play pretty well, but I still think that I've not seen enough Legacy Nuke so far that makes me excited for their T side. But that's really where I think the test is put onto Lux as a captain, is how can he call on a map like this where there's a lot of moving parts. You can keep it pretty simple, but if you want to get complex, we've seen other captains in his region do some crazy things on this map. And I'll be very curious to see if he's gotten any past wisdom from, I'd argue, the best in-game leader in Brazil in Big Uzera.
Yeah, honestly, when I kind of take this map in, I'm still drowning my sorrows a little bit here for not Train, but that's fine. I'm gonna blow past that. The fact we're on Nuke. Yeah, you're right though, Paladin. I mean, really, it's a situation where the T side for Legacy has always been abysmal, right? It's not good. It's like a 36% win rate. Like it's just not good. Like, and I think that's a good point you bring up about the IGL of Lux. Like, has he been able to incorporate like a new system, some different protocols for these guys? Because I mean, these guys have all played this map many times as a core. Like, it's not like they're it's a instant ban or anything like for these guys. Like, so the veto is definitely not bad, but I think they're going to just have to make sure how well their T side's going to be in comparison to Getting Info, where a team like that, Getting Info, I mean, they do play a lot better on the CT side as well. I mean, they're sitting close to that, 57-58%, where they're a lot better on the CT side. So I just don't know if I'm really convinced, though, from Getting Info in the sense of their firepower, right? We started getting glimpses where they were doing quite well on Ancient, but it felt like it was a bit slow. So I think if, we see Legacy getting themselves a good kickstart on this, that might be enough to just getting them those extra rounds they need to be on that T side.
Yeah, it definitely felt like consolation rounds at the end of the day. I never was truly feeling like that comeback was really on, but that is just inherently the nature of rounds like that. I'm gonna jump back into Nuke though. CT side start for Legacy as well. This is where they do some great work, and Getting Info slowing the pace down initially, throwing just one mini smoke. They don't want to go straight through that door CT smoke, so they'll wait for it to dissipate and then they'll re-engage. They won't have a smoke mini though, and that's the main issue. It looks like a double pump fake into ramp. So it's up to Nissim to try and find some critical kills, and he won't find anything, Laz.
Oh, it's so awkward too, because like you can just see it. I can't remember who was beside Dare, but he was like trying to get across onto red. Things get a little awkward. So luckily, for Legacy, they're able to find themselves at least a trade back, and now Sodzin might be able to get this timing, or maybe they're able to sneak away. Oh, I can't even believe he's able to find that timing on the kill. A little bit of fakeroo, but these guys are already, from Getting Info, just going to commit to the site. So this is not looking great right now for the T's, but all of a sudden, yeah, they're making good connections with the Glocks. I was thinking this was just going to be a sure done round. And now the fake plant comes in. Things get a little bit awkward for Sodzin, but luckily Carson might be able to get himself out of this situation. But again, he's got to get the bomb down. He's got to go for these double kills here. Not an easy situation to go for, and there's the instant trade back. The number advantage will save the day here for Legacy.
Yeah, Getting Info getting a little frisky there with that initial pistol round call. I like the double pump into the ramp play, but even after getting the kill on Nissim, I think they overcomplicated after that. I think right after you get that 1-for-1, you commit to the ramp play. You just gotta fight Sadzin. You can't let him get comfortable, and unfortunately he reads that entire situation from front cover to back cover like it's nothing. And now getting info with how many times they fake the plant, do not have a bomb plant, and we'll have to run with these pistols. I think of Lux would get activated, but Carson chimes in alongside his teammate in Shane. Man advantage for getting info, and make that matter even worse for Legacy as Dumao hits the deck. It's just 2 MP9s now that have got to defend against the Honor, but getting info is throwing at them.
You know, the one thing, I don't know if you'll agree with me, Paladin, but let's see if this works out here. Okay, nice. He doesn't even get hit with a shot. I was thinking, look, the old Timberman core, like, I always think, you know, Brazilians are really good with Deags. I always felt like the Timberman core were, like, pretty good with the Eagles. Like, they were kind of that, like, NA team that were, like, you always could expect something big from those guys with Deags.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really feel like there was ever a round where they didn't have some sort of threat in a round, because they were so good with their deagles. Dare especially, I feel like this guy could rip heads clean off, excuse me. And now he's got another opportunity to notch one more of those exemplary rounds into his career resume. Gonna walk out into the ramp, and Lotto cannot connect. Truly unfortunately, would have loved to at least get one and reset the situation, but instead the bomb will go down and Nissim will have nothing to do with it. He is down the vents though. He's giving it a little bit of a look in. I don't really fancy his chances, especially considering he doesn't have a kit. Breaks the glass, causes a little bit of a fuss here, opens the door as well. I mean, at this point I just go back to J-Hall and try to pick up the bomb. He's gonna commit and he's gonna fall. I guess he will have to give back one more round, and plant or no plant, getting info still get the job done.
Yeah, you know, and honestly, I agree with you, Paladin. Like, I was kind of thinking the exact same thing about the sense of, like, you know, I'm surprised he's committing to this. I think he was hoping to find a quick fight, maybe to, you know, potentially go for it, but you don't have a kit. You knew there was an M4 that was going to be dropped, you know, which I thought he was going to potentially just run back for, which I think he could have been successful getting it. But either way, I mean, it's an effort. We'll say that. I'm not going to grade it, but it's, you know, he tries it at least, which is not bad. But getting info, you know, surprise of events, you know, with the Deags, once again, they're able to find some big connections, a little bit of an overextension from Legacy. So the fact that they've kind of, you know, initially were just kind of trying to put their bodies to work, and that second round was definitely kind of the, you know, the turning point for these guys, where I think they went for some fights they probably shouldn't have. But look, I mean, no harm, no foul for them. I mean, this is still a very early on game, and getting info now, I mean, this is where they really need to get as many rounds as possible. Like we said, their T side is also not the greatest, so both these teams are showing us that it's the name of defense, really. So it's all about how many rounds you truly get on that T side to transfer over.
Not necessarily calling both of these IGLs elite in their region. They're serviceable, yes. It's gonna have to come down to firepower, and cliche in that sense, but such is the nature. Sadzin will not have anything to say in this one. Not even a consolatory frag or tag. He'll fall. Nissim now left up alone once again. Momentarily will hit the deck. That's a nice freebie to find out to Dare, but not long for this world. Not at all. And getting info, get through that force buy with ease. Instantaneously looking to get themselves 3 in a row. And all of a sudden, it feels like Legacy are mortal again.
Yeah, it's definitely not really showing me, like, you know, I think of Legacy, and I think we, you know, again, it's hard to say because we feel like they're definitely a team that can break through pretty well, but they're kind of not really giving us a lot of warm and fuzzies in the moment. But still, I mean, this round is definitely not going to get any sort of warm and fuzzies. And getting info, actually, I kind of like this plan too, because the fact they're actually going to play aggressive. I think they got Dare already down in the vent. Not bad at all. This is just a little bit risky, but I like it. I like the fact that Dare commits to something like this. Now the Legacy player is looking for a fight. Find a P2K. That's a clean little one. There we go. So they're going to be able to get themselves a gun at the least. But, I mean, getting info now in a prime position here, like, I feel like, you know, Paladin, just keep the AK, put the other 4 pistols, go for a hunt, look for an exit, you know, just try to, you know, do damage. This is going to be successful for them, considering what they were dealt with.
Yeah, they can get out with that AK. Play bodyguard for Dumont. The bomb is planted on that lower site, and if these guys are not careful, all of them will go down to the bomb. And the verticality of it from the lower floor is very dangerous. And I mean, they've got to go all the way back to spawn. I'm very nervous for these guys at this point. Back all the way up to garage, and I think, yeah, garage should be fine.
Terrorists win.
But I think from that region of like red box, either they're just dead completely or they'll be very low. So I see what they're doing. They wanted to see if they can get another exit, but all good. Buys should come through, and you've got your prime rifler on the AK-47. But it's put up or shut up now for Legacy, as getting info. They're getting crafty with how they're finding entries here. I like how they're playing around with outside. Can they get away with that when the guns are out for Legacy is the real question. It's certainly looking like it with the pace that they're taking. Look at this. Dare just charging through, and he's beaten the timing of the nades outside. But Nissim is here to pick up the pieces, make sure that this doesn't happen. But Dare says, I don't care. They'll go charging through, he'll find ahead, and they're going to continue to speed things up here, getting info. I like this. Push these CTs back, make them feel uncomfortable, and force them to save as early as possible.
Yeah, honestly, Dare, I love the fact that he just tried something a bit bold, and like you can even see Nissim was just not ready. Like he kind of had a bit of an inkling maybe, but like even his positioning, his crosshair placement was just a bit off. So right now for getting info, a really decent take with just a very simple execution, and the fact of Dare just being able to get the sneakers on, going for a big sprint, succeeds on it. Like you said, the timing was just perfect. This is going to concede defeat here for Legacy, so they're just going to keep everything in the spawn. Not bad at all. This is looking like a pretty dominant, I guess, a pretty proficient T-side so far. And surprisingly, again, Legacy showing a lot of weaknesses on the CT side. This is what's really surprising me right now, Paladin. We talked about the first game on, you know, Ancient, where it was Legacy, you know, really coming out the gates, strong leads. And now it's the opposite, right? Like it's now we're seeing getting info. They put themselves in a really nice lead with 3. So for Legacy, they're going to have to figure out what they need to do differently. I would like to see a timeout, just because I think, again, they just got to make sure they can maintain control in this game.
Yeah, I do see that the protocols that they had there with the lower rotation was perfect. I mean, you had Nissim immediately there to make sure that if a player did get down lower, there is an immediate response. But in that situation, I think fighting isn't necessarily the best option. I would have, probably considered just using a piece of anti-rush utility, but I don't think he was necessarily thinking that they'd be that fast up. But now it's about an adaptation process here for Legacy. You understand that they're speeding up the pace in terms of how they want to find their entries. They're trying to speed up the process of the default, skip a couple of phases. How do you respond to that? How do you set things up to make sure that doesn't happen again? Do you have a little bit more of an aggressive setup outside? Do you have a player close red? Do you try to take lobby control early? Do you try to have a ramp setup? I mean, there are a number of responses that the CTs can throw in. And it looks like a little bit of the formula. They're going to plant Sajin and then outside, but now's the upper pop. I love this call from Carson. It feels a little bit unorthodox, but it's really catching Legacy off guard. That being said, they've still got themselves the man advantage, and they're of course getting info into some sticky situations. Marky will claw another back. Into the 2v2 we go, and Marky's already considering going down the vents, as Dia has already considered the fact as well. This slid out and has an opportunity to 1v2. Flash is good, and Marky's headshots even better. Getting info continue their winning ways.
Not bad at all. I mean, getting info really is, again, using a lot of aggression, and that's kind of the one thing about, again, the old Timberman core that I felt like was a good staple for these guys. It's like when they were starting to feel it, when they were starting to pick up a little bit of the energy, and they knew like their firepower was kicking in a bit more, that's when you start to see some quick decisions. The aggressive rifles really start to make the shots when they need to, and that's exactly what we saw, right? Like everybody was able to find some duels, just creating a lot of space, and I love the fast pace that they're going for. This is like some old school Timberman from what I'm seeing, because this is what they used to do. Then they kind of changed their whole game plan. I know things have changed now with some of the players, but it's kind of cool to see that they're going back to that winning way and that winning recipe that used to be successful for them today. But now Lux gifted this one, maybe two. He will not, but at least he does some good damage. So now we're back to the 4 and 4 with Dare down to 28. Dumas already lost half his HP. And it might even be fast aggression once more, because they're going to just try to swing onto this. That's going to be Lotto. He's able to get himself out of here. He needs to be able to get this util, and his teammate's going down. Now Lotto needs to frag out. He has to be able to find multi-kills, and indeed he will with the 2. Leaving it to Shane. He's spotted the offer, but he still needs to fight, and he's worried about the Heaven player. Able to go for the 1v1, and now it's Nissim. He has to play a little bit of tic-tac-toe. They need to just do something. Ring around the rosy. I don't know. They're playing every single game in the book. They spot each other. Even a damn Raylan's in this situation. And Nissim finally takes him out.
It's just absolute nonsense in the 1v1. But Lotto doing so much work to find the multi there. How he gets out of mini there and catches out the odd, again, crafty way that Getting Info are trying to mold an entry there, where they're playing through the cross smokes that they have, and they're much closer than initially anticipated. But Lotto gets around the corner, and he's Sightmate as well, finds one before he falls, and it baits Lotto beautifully at the opposite end. And now, all of a sudden, Legacy have notched themselves their second, but still a lot of work to be done here, because I don't think they've completely solved the riddle of what Getting Info is throwing at them. These quick pops into the upper and lower bomb sites are not working. Or sorry, are working, and they just don't have a response, is more what I'm trying to say. This time, at that inner side with the late wrap from Dare. At least initially.
I was kind of talking a lot about them just being aggressive and going for fights. I mean, they've been doing it multiple different times, different ways, but it's good to see them kind of, again, just collecting some thoughts. Dia, though, does have the up move ready to go. Maybe it can play a quick track for us. Maybe. Oh, I can miss him. I was thinking maybe he might have fumbled this one a little bit, but at least he can find this ball now. Getting info. I thought maybe they could have escaped and changed life. A little bit of back and forth we go. AK picked up here with 19 bullets, but Dare with a big old swing. I don't even know in this situation. Yeah, Paladin, looks like they're going to just commit to the save, because you can already see Lux. He's posted up far away. Sodzin realizing, okay, I might be able to just find a duel here. I mean, actually, they're going to commit to it. Just kidding. I'm just completely. But Sodzin gives his life away, and now Lux, yeah, you're out.
I mean, I think you're right there. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that they should be saving there. You've got a player stuck in lower, can't come to the vent, and you've got an op on the retake trying to do a hut flank. That's just never gonna happen. Now Lux goes down as well. Like, you've got to make these answers just split second. You've got to commit to the play as quick as possible if you're going for it, right? And if you're not, then you've got to get the hell out of there, and they never do. Now they've got pots and pans to defend and Getting Info. I mean, I'm really liking how they're calling. Carson is really taking me back to the initial Nouns days, where he was a little bit more off the leash. He was calling, he was a little bit looser, letting those individuals make some more decisions for themselves, and Look at this, man. Entries coming up everywhere for them. Nissim will try his hand at battle back off this ramp play, but Shane has got it locked down. Sadzin now the last one alive, pushing in through outside, but it's a bit too late at this point. The 7th now on the cards for getting info, and Legacy don't have any responses. The adaptation is just not there.
Bomb has been planted.
Yeah, it just seems like they really lost, like, again, the wind in sails, right? It just even seems like they had that like, a little bit of a lobby crunch right there where they like did some big damage. I think that was with Shane, and I think it was actually Dia. I could be wrong, but they weren't even able to get those kills. Like, I mean, the fact they were able to recover it, getting info is just able to find those duels. So I don't know, man. This is huge because we talked about them, like they're in the ECL, you know, NA League. I mean, they're sitting themselves at a really good record. These guys are sitting pretty when we talk about playoffs and everything like that, but it's Legacy now that it makes you wonder. It just really makes you wonder. But surely not a triple, no, but at least some little consolation prizes here and there. But 7-2, Paladin. I didn't think I was going to see this kind of a scoreline, and now the op has to get out. This is where we need to see some activation from Legacy before this thing kind of, you know, falls off the track.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke about it, right? The overlapping in map pools of some of the strengths of Legacy, but there are still clearly things to be worked upon, and Nuke is definitely one of them. They didn't want to go into Dust 2 knowing that it's a bit of a comfort spot for somebody like Carson, and right now they just don't have any answers here on the defense. Sadzin will again get created with P out. Nissim's got the AUG out. I mean, this is like a Kerrigan move when he's killless. I don't know if you've seen that. When he goes like 0-7, he'll just like pull out an AUG, hoping that solves things. And sometimes it does, but other times it doesn't. Single door gets swung open. This one finds his first. Sadzin cannot hit the flick. Shane just a little faster on the trigger. Ramp is Evan now under threat as well as Lux goes 1 for 1. 3v3 now. Getting info, slowing the pace down, but Dumao has found a little bit of a timing, has a chance at catching some backs turned, but at this point he finds nothing. Does he want to continue his adventure, or does he die trying? And I think it's going to be the latter as Carson finds him. And that freeze looks mighty beautiful right now for getting info. Legacy all of a sudden, they're undermanned. You've got 2 players downstairs and no information. This T side can do whatever they want with 40 seconds left on the clock. Probably make a right one unless Lotto can pull things back. He finds one, quickly traded out by Shane, and they're into this top site. Bomb should be able to go down. Now it's a question of Nissim getting up or not, and he will.
Nissim, no. But I mean, again, these HP is low, right? Like combined is like not even close to 49. Hooker Carson's gonna make it easy. He's gonna make it pretty swift, and there we go. So 8-2. So, you know, I was surprised because even, you know, for getting info, like you said, I think it was Lotto that was outside and he was going for that fight to getting info. Like, man, they're just feeling it, and you know, it's just like that old school Timberman Nouns that we were talking about off the leash. Like you said, these guys are like, you know what, we're better, we're just gonna frag out, we're just gonna do what we do best and shoot them in the head. And that's what we're starting to see. I mean, these guys are the ones that are calling timeouts, and like you said, I think Carson's actually, you know, called a really good game in this. It just feels like he's miles ahead of these guys. He knows exactly every move they're gonna try to make. So, and even for this round, I mean, these guys are in a bit of a unique purchase because you got the Lux with the M4. Everybody else is kind of equipping the pistols here to just preserve for the following. I don't know, Paladin. Like, we got to see, like I said, we got to see something different from Legacy. I feel like it's just been kind of the same thing over and over, really not mixing things up in the playbook, in my opinion.
I mean, there is no playbook. That's the long short of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Make it.
They're not fighting outside at all. You've got players on islands when they are fighting outside. It's like that one solo Lux play under silo. You don't have any aggressive red presence. You don't have a secret crunch. And you're just starved of information. You're just not getting an opportunity of figuring out what the opponent is doing. Not at a lobby crunch either. They've not tried anything, really. Nissim's the only one that's really found any sort of impact, and that's just because they've been coming at distance of the map every round. And look at this. These deep smokes has allowed getting info to get all the way into heaven. Now, this may be a little bit of an overstep, though, as Dare continues to try to push the issue, finds so many players, and doesn't find a single kill. This has to be the opportunity where Legacy converts, and they absolutely will. Shane and Markey, but Lado's found his. It should be an unwinnable situation for the Mexican, and it absolutely will. Legacy find themselves their third round, and I think this is where getting info kind of pushed the issue just a tad bit too far.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think it was them just really trying to bully, right? Like, you can even see, like, they were just pressing as much as they could into hell. They were just trying to fight for those different players that were outside. So it really just kind of felt like an ego bit of a round. They're like, nah, just do it. Let's just go for fights. Let's just brawl this out. And, you know, Legacy finally able to get some kind of a response. There was a lot of awkward encounters, right? You had to go for hell here. You had to go for fights above. Like, it's just, it wasn't a great situation for these guys. But nonetheless, last round of the first. Op's going to be in the hands of Via. And surprisingly, actually, Dare, despite that, you know, round loss, is going to be MAC 10. So this does give Legacy, you know, on paper, some kind of an advantage when you talk about it, but what do we see from getting info? Are they really going to get secret control again for free? Like, almost just cross without any sort of intel? It definitely looks like it might be so.
They haven't even naded open the smoke, man. I mean, how can they let that just happen? They can't let that happen. And yes, you've got Lux rotated downstairs, but he is the only man that is downstairs at this point. Deep nade should soften up a couple of players, and it does. And Lux will reorient himself at the stairs. But he's got to call Nissim sooner rather than later. That Molotov will definitely convince Legacy of something, but nobody's budging upstairs. And then a flash as well goes straight at him, and Lux will find one. Positions have been found, and it's just up to Nissim. They gotta know that he's around this area. Nissim takes one more down with him, but again, man, just no information, very static defensive play, and getting info are doing whatever they want, whenever they want here on Nuke.
Oh, Duma actually with a nice little bit of a shot, but again, it costs him his HP, but 2-2. Tries to go over the swing a little bit early, so now Lotto has to do everything by himself. Not gonna happen, so that's gonna be the end of the first. And we see a significant lead happening here from getting info. We're gonna take a little break as we catch our breaths and get ready for the second half.
I'm bulletproof, don't ever lose. Put the evil in the devil, let him let it loose. I'm an earthquake, make your bones shake. There's no question I'm the king, I always dominate. A force to be reckoned with, better remember it. Look at what I can do, walking all over you. Incredible, it's criminal. I never lose, I'm bulletproof.
It's destiny, it's fate.
Getting Info were definitely able to find themselves a lot of info. They were even able to get a lot of rounds, as now they're going to be able to put themselves on the CT side, where statistically that is the better end for them. So maybe, Paladin, is this enough for them to close the deal, or maybe this little bit of a break has allowed Legacy to find some breathing room?
And they've got a chance here. And we spoke about the ramifications of this series and every series coming up for Legacy. Playoffs not in reach just yet. Maybe with this T side they can inch closer. It's gonna have to be a hell of a pistol to start things off. They're gonna go charging in a hell of a battle to find the opening decision. They're gonna try to continue this good work alongside Lux, and Lux will find himself 2 more. It does leave it all on to Marky, and this quick outside take was not kept up with by Getting Info. And this CT side will have to hold on for a second, unless Marky can piece this one together. Clears out lobby, finds that nobody is home, but all 3 Ts have scaled downstairs. As soon as that bomb goes down, all the pressure put onto Marky. No kit either, so that doesn't make matters much better. You've got full Kevlar. If you saved, you could have a helmet and maybe even a better purchase, but he wants his time in the spotlight. Flash comes in, and he's just not doing anything, not an inch, and once he does see a pixel, his head is ripped clean off. So Legacy, they want to start this comeback off strong, and they've finally put their first foot forward.
Yeah, honestly, in a big way too, right? I mean, again, like it was Legacy that were, I think, struggling on the pistols before. So the fact that they're able to get themselves a pistol when it matters the most. I mean, I feel like I say that all the time, but it's just like it's 9-3. Like you just need it to boost yourself in terms of morale, in terms of the round. So definitely a nice way. And like you said, they weren't given an inch. They definitely looked very calculated on it. So a good way for them to respond back, to still show a fighting chance in this game. But I'm still worried though, Paladin. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you know, when we look at the statistics of this, there's your T sides. There isn't much of a playbook. I don't know. Maybe there's something here now. But now, I mean, Getting Info, double players into ramp, and actually Dare actually going to be close on by as well. So this is a nice little bit of a 3-player stack leading into this ramp control. I like that they're just waiting things out, playing a little bit cheeky, not too forward as well. But even you can see Legacy again. They're just very hesitant. They're worried about what kind of a punch they're going to get from Getting Info.
Still trying to ease their way back into this match counter-strike. They open on the street door, Smoke can fight into Marky, but they've wasted a lot of bullets. Got a little dicey there. Carson's still fighting, and the lobby crunch is beautiful. I mean, it works from all angles, and none of these Legacy players were prepared. They were ready to hit the A bomb site, but they get hit from every which way. Nissim still has a chance to put this all to bed. 34 HP across the 2 players. And Carson gets downstairs, preemptively considering this possibility. And Nissim is still yet to pick up the bomb. 20 seconds now, and eventually Nissim will have to make that upstairs decision. But he's still thinking that Carson's around every corner. Oh no, he's right into the open arms. He was not prepared for that at all. I mean, the open bomb site upstairs was right there. I was considering that was just going to be the decision he made. But Nissim overthinks it just a tad. And the captain of Getting Info just a step ahead. The comeback starts just as quickly as it ends.
What a round. And that's what I was kind of saying, right, is the fact that Getting Info were like playing this little bit of a triple player at one point on the ramp. They weren't over pushing it, but then the fact that they went for the late lobby crunch like that, man, chef's kiss. That really just put them in a big bounce back on this. And I was thinking like the pistol round was critical for Legacy, but turned out that's not really the case at all. Like really was just a little bit of something lining up nicely for them. And now Dumal's going to try to get aggressive into vent. But it's actually Nissim to find the opening engagement. Now the noise cue's been made. Marky's able to reposition himself nicely. Now he has to be able to find these multi-kills. And unfortunately for him, he's not able to get really much going at all. these pistols once again, Paladin, it seems to be kind of the Achilles heel for both these teams. Like, I don't know how we're in this position with a 5-on-2, and now you need Shane and Leah, 2 players with M4s. They have to be able to either win some duels quickly, or they got to get the heck out of here, because they realize they ain't got no time and they got no real estate to work with.
Yeah, they're gonna head for the hills, go back into the CT spawn, and Legacy going tit for tat here with the CT side. I mean, the unfortunate thing is that you don't have rounds to do this. You're gonna have to eventually string a couple together if you're Legacy. But right now, this defense will have at least something to write home about. It doesn't have to just be 5.7s. It doesn't have to be pistols on the other end. Shane can drop over an MP9 as well. So there's a little bit of potency behind this next 4 spy. But they can't rely on the lobby crunch again, right? There's just no way.
We'll have to wait and see, but a little bit of an awkward one for money in terms of the guns here for getting info, but it's going to be a nice little bit of a stackerino here into the ramp. Dumau, you sneaky little devil. Oh, he's not even going to commit to it, actually. I thought he was going to actually make the cross, but it looks like he's still kind of hesitating on the minimap. Now he's getting spammed away. He's taking a lot of damage. He could have been able to get that secret control for free. Like, hesitation on decision. Now Carson, big moment for him. Maybe this time right. That's 1. That's 2. That might be the 3. No, but look at that 1 HP to spare for Lux. Oh, the robbery for Carson. Really good control of the MP9. The fact that he could just tank or something like this, you love to see it. And now Dumau, the guy that couldn't cross into secret on a 1-on-4 clutch, needing to come alive. But I think Paladin, this might be a little too late.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, a by design play there from Carson. Your expectation is that he gets 1, but there's still an immediate response with a fast lobby flank, as well as a player rotating in from the heavens, instantly trading out those low HP bars. And Dumau finally has gotten a secret, but with no teammates and no bomb, and more importantly, no time. Round will expire. Getting info will get their 11th, and this means that once again they'll trade blows, but they don't have the runway here, the Brazilians, and that's the main issue. They've got to find a way to get 2 on the board and snap the money, and they've got to do it now.
Counter-terrorists win.
Yeah, they're running out of chances. And like, again, for any folks that are just kind of tuning into this late, I mean, this is where, again, the biggest premise of this whole game and this whole, double best of ones is the fact that Legacy were in this position where they, they weren't in the region for a while. They had to forfeit a bunch of their matches. This is critical. Like, this is where we were talking about they should be fine, but when they go into a situation like this, down 11-5, when really you need to be getting as many wins as possible just to securing yourself a playoff contention, I mean, this is definitely going to be a sour one to drink if this is the case, and this is where it ends. And the tea leaves kind of point the direction here of getting info, but Legacy have been able to do comebacks before, but this is a long stretch. This is a stretch that's not comfortable. Right now, you're seeing a lot of back and forth on the outside, and all despite of that fight, it's 3-3. And Shane now play the safe properly, and oh man, Shane lines up the 1, cannot be able to find the second, but at least damage is getting inflicted.
Oh, but they're losing bodies. And now it's all Prasad. He's done a tremendous job to pull this into a relevant position, but he's naded down to smithereens. And map point has been found from getting info, battling back through adversity. They had a mini comeback on Ancient, but here they are stamping their authority across the Brazilians, potentially snapping 12 match wins in a row.
Yeah, that's huge. Honestly, I was kind of nervous for Carson because like you could see he was running out he had like his utility out, and I'm like, what are you doing? But then I realized, oh, okay, he knew he had a molly. If he threw that, he could just buy some time. And then again, an 8, he just added a little bit more insult and allowed it. So now 12-5, and Legacy showing an absence, and now they're just going to try to run across Secret, but yeah, they're just late on this. Red like children's book, they're just fully predictable at this point. Getting info, know the storyline. And they're just making this easier and easier for them to get this thing done right now. Carson getting close onto this. He realizes he might get overwhelmed by some players. He might be able to get this kill, and indeed he does, but at least he gets the trade off. But this thing's got to be done. This thing's got to be over. Lotto now in the clutch of the 1-on-4 to keep themselves in this game. Otherwise, Legacy going back down in the records, where they're going to be finishing things off with a 7-9 record here in ECL. Now the smoke in front of him, everything just against him. The cards are dealt not in his favor, and there we go. Getting info will be able to split the night with a 1-on-1.
It's not what Legacy we're looking for, but it definitely is for Getting Info. Sitting at top of the table and retaining a lot of their presence up there. Getting Info make the best out of a bad situation, and they'll be happy with how Nuke ended up. It wasn't a favorable map either in terms of the veto, but they showcased that they got a couple of tricks up their sleeve in terms of how they wanted to approach the calling, and Legacy could just not keep up with it. They could not adapt fast enough, and eventually it comes up the side of Getting Info.
Yeah, it's just so surprising, right? Like, I mean, you know, there was so many question marks about what Legacy's going to be able to do to this. I thought with their history and the statistics of how well they can play on the CT side, I thought we were going to see a lot more of it. But honestly, I still got to tip my hat here for Getting Info. Like, it felt like they just went, you know, guns blazing. They just went for these aggressive plays, and I think you said it best, off the leash, right? I mean, these guys were really just kind of doing what they wanted. Carson just allowed the freedom, which allowed them to play really, really well. Player to watch, which we were predicting for Lux, you know, not the greatest game for him, obviously, just considering of what happened to this occurrence. But you know what? Despite that record and the scoreline, not terrible. But unfortunately for Legacy, man, they got a lot of work. They got to go back in the lab, and they really got to grind it out now. They got to figure out these kinks quickly.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of time, and I mean, still 3 points between them and the next highest team on the playoff standings, and that's Party Astronauts. So a lot of work to do in that sense for the Brazilians, as they are going to retain in North America for a little bit longer to try to close out the season. But that's going to do it, folks. We've got all of the games, I do believe, done, at least on the main streams. Don't be afraid to kind of check out other streams as well, with Marsborn taking on LFO4 as well. So don't want to miss all of that good Counter-Strike action. But from here on the B stream, we're going to be bidding you a good night. Paladin, joined by Laz here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys very, very shortly.
Love you. Bye.
Think you've seen it all? With Faceit Watch's Point of View Selector, you can experience the game from any pro's perspective. Use the multi-view feature and customize the stream with up to 4 angles. Control what points you see while earning rewards. Drops are activated and lucky winners will receive Faceit points. And if you ever miss a match, VODs are now available. Get instant access to demos with multiple POVs and commentary. Watch it, control it, Faceit.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
If you wanna be my love, boy, gotta take it slow. If you wanna be my love, I'll show you what you wanna know. If you wanna be my love, boy, gotta take it slow. If you wanna be my love, I'll show you what you wanna know. Yeah. La 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 la. Yeah. Your life hits hard, but I hit right back. I never back down. I keep it on track. It's the same day with no problems. I keep rising from the bottom. Cause when the sun comes up and I look around, I can feel that love, I can hear that sound. They're never gonna hold me down. I'm higher than the ceiling now. And then I need to worry about, cause I got no problems. I know it's gonna be alright. It's getting better every time. Nobody's gonna kill my vibe, cause I got no problems. Yes, every day was a war. Yeah, it kinda took a while. When they tell me I should stay, I just jump with a smile. Yeah, it's hard until you notice. Everybody's got their moment. When the sun comes up and I look around, I can feel that love, I can hear the sound. Listen up. They're never gonna hold